So plenty of great action to look forward to here. So game 3 comes from Pool B. It's the third seed, the Fijian Tavita Rokovereni. His 14th match on the series. Referees and players alike developing in this game. So we're all set here for game 3 from Pool B. The other two teams in this pool are South Africa and Japan. And getting us underway is Jean-Pascal Barak. He kicks long. So England will run it out from their own line, and there is that man, Richard de Carpentier, always putting his hand up to carry the ball for England. Here's the captain this weekend, Phil Burgess. Runs into Alex Lagarde. Ollie Lindsay-Haig to Dan Bibby. Dan Bibby always ball in two hands, asking questions of the defence. And here's Richard de Carpentier with an early burst for England. Up over the 10-metre line. Charlie Hayter plays scrum half. Lindsay-Haig, short ball to McConaughey. He offloads to Burgess. England keeping the ball in hand. And it's Ollie Lindsay-Haig who will go round the post for England. And they are on the board inside the opening minute here in Singapore.
It's a real confident start there from the English team. We said about their skill set being far superior to the French team, and it showed. Passing crisp. We don't question or doubt the starting team. They've got some real firepower of that. This man, Lindsay-Haig, he attracts defenders. McConaughey looks a lovely line, keeps the ball alive, and if you're combining offloads in the game of sevens, there's no doubt you've got more chance of ending up underneath the sticks. The question perhaps to be asked of this English team, if we're looking wider picture, is how the likes of Mitchell not been involved. Maybe ask questions about what Eddie Jones would call the finishers, the bench players. And these young guys get an opportunity, but that's certainly a great way to start a tournament.
There is the head coach, Simon Amor. Never one to offer too much expression on the sideline, but no doubt beneath, he'll be very happy with England's start here. He said he was very disappointed with England's performance in Hong Kong. And here come France. A breakaway from Jean-Baptiste Mazoué. Tries to offload to his captain, but that's good work from McConaughey to get back and intercept that pass. Try-scoring opportunity for France, dealt with by England. Burgess. Here's the try scorer, Lindsay-Haig. He's got lovely feet, there's Lindsay-Haig, and it's Stefan Perez that has to bring down Lindsay-Haig on that occasion. Here's Bibby. Bibby with another short ball, but that time couldn't quite hold on to it, Charlie Hayter. But Rob, you can see what England are trying to do here. Yeah,
really clear tactics. You can see Dan Bibby and Lindsay-Haig being the pivotal people of this game. They're standing flat and static. Now what that does is create an opportunity to spread the ball wide, but also gives them a wonderful opportunity to beat defenders themselves individually. However, that statistic there is what you don't want to be seeing if you are an English supporter. 2 errors already in the first of the errors, because giving them an opportunity in this side can be difficult, especially now they've got a blindside opportunity.
Here come France. Pierre-Gilles Lacafia, the captain, runs at Dan Norton, shakes him off, looks inside to Lagarde. This boy's a danger man. And they get the penalty, France. They'll go quickly. Barak, Logel, Perez, Manuel Dalinha, experienced player on the circuit these days. Has that one gone forward into contact? No, another penalty coming France's way.
Well, slightly unfortunate there, Dan Norton making a very dominant tackle, almost like a bit of judo, grappling into the floor, but if you're in that position, you just got to get out the way as quick as possible.
So France with a really good opportunity here, inside England's 22. Counting down to 3 minutes to go in this first half, trailing England by 7. Let's see what Les Bleus have up their sleeve. Perez. Cut out pass to Barak. Running out of the line was McConaughey, and Barak's gone the other way, and it's Jean-Pascal Barak, but it's a good tackle from Burgess. And England have interfered with France here, but they've got it back, the Frenchmen. Go the short side. Pass doesn't quite go to the hands of Manuel Dalinha. But Perez has seen some space, and he steps inside. And Stefan Perez will respond for Les Bleus. That's a good try for France.
It's a really good try, and Perez there, one of the few people with explosive power in this French team. They've got size, they're just lacking a bit of pace, And when it gets gritty, it's little moments like that pickup that really makes a difference there. Lagarde, wonderful, wonderful take on the fly. Look, tip on past that man again, Perez, supports the Ligner. It gets a little bit messy, but one thing's for sure, he's got some ability to step. We see there inside Phil Burgess, and for good measure, tries to step the goal line for some reason, but good score from the French, and shows how if they get opportunity, they can win arm wrestles.
So Barak will attempt to level the game, does just that. Very oppressive, humid conditions here in Singapore. Rob, how much do you think that's going to affect the players' ability to hold onto the ball this weekend?
I think it's going to be absolutely huge. The one thing that is tested under this extreme fatigue is your skill set. At times it's really difficult when you've got wet hands to grab the ball properly, so expect to see a few more handling errors than probably seen from previously. And it's just general mentality. The first thing that will go if you are extremely tired is also your ability to communicate, so much more reactive, which again can bring about errors.
So Alexandre Lagarde, who was involved in the build-up to that try, has taken a rest. Expect to see a lot of rolling subs this weekend in these very hot conditions. Here's Lacafir, the French captain here in Singapore. A robust carry from him, sucks in a few England defenders. And there's another ball going to ground. Referee saw a little knock on there. So it'll be an England scrum on their own 10-metre line.
We mentioned before about how errors can creep into the game. One way of trying to get more errors from the team attacking is to put pressure on. So what they call line speed, a real ability to go from the back foot, the hindmost part of any ruck situation, to get into the face of the attackers as quick as possible. You can be very offensive in Sevens rugby with your defence.
So Ollie Lindsay-Haig to feed this scrum. He'll get plenty of game time this weekend in the absence of regular skipper Tom Mitchell. And here's another man who'll be taking the responsibility to provide England with a creative spark this weekend, Dan Bibby. Speaking of responsibility, there's Richard Zacar-Pentier, and that's been dropped in contact once again.
So this is exactly what we've seen there. We're talking about the defence being really pressured. Richard Zacar-Pentier is a forward out and out. He is not used to that playmaking ability. So if he is at first receiver, the man getting the ball from the base of the ruck, and players are putting pressure on in defence, it becomes very difficult for him to deal with that, which often means he will dummy and look to carry. Happened there, but they force an error. That's wonderful defence from the French.
Jean-Baptiste Mazoué seems to have picked up a knock in that contact area. Former flanker in 15s for the Brive club in France. It's a good start from France here. They really haven't had things their way on the 7 series of late. 12th overall. They lost all 3 of their pool games in Hong Kong. So if they can pick up a big scalp here, and let's face it, these days on the 7th circuit, England is a big scalp. That'll set them up well, France.
It completely will. The thing that worries me a little bit about the French is they've not got the pace that they need. So expect to see teams against them stay away from the likes of Lacafir with his big carries and kick it deep against them. Because if you get these big men turning, they've simply not got the ability to cope with that stress on their bodies. And it's surely something that Simon Amell will be alluding to at half-time.
Let's go, coach.
So we're on the final play here in the first half of this Pool B game between England and France, and it's all square, a converted try piece. France have the ball from the scrum in their own half. Jean-Pascal Barak with a good handoff and some go forward here for the Frenchman. Going in for the turnover there is Richie Zacar-Pentier, and he wins it for England. You can't finish a half or a game on a penalty, so England will have another chance here to try and pick up some more points before the break.
Classic play from the big man there. Hold on to the ball like an Easter egg, wasn't he? Not letting go of that. It's so difficult when these big men have fantastic body positions over the ball and creates opportunities for the fast-footed, fleet-footed Dan Bibby to create gaps for them.
Speaking of Dan Bibby, here he is, sees a gap in midfield, offloads to Burgess. Burgess tries to do the same, slightly lifted in the tackle there. Referee says play on. Pops out the back for Zacar-Pentier. Little show and go from big Richard Zacar-Pentier. Good to see his hater at scrum half. To Burgess once more. He steps inside. Does Phil Burgess Can he go all the way? He's looking for his 50th on the series. Can't quite get their offloads to McConaughey.
Easy. Come down. Hang on.
Good support play there. One man down as De Carpentier did not get back up. You can see there, clear infringement. Barak knew exactly what he was doing, killed the ball and deserves to be on the sideline for 2 minutes in that situation. But clever play in some ways because it was a dead set score.
So it's actually 6 on 6 here because in back play, Richard De Carpentier is receiving some treatment from the trainer. It doesn't look good for the big man. This would be bad news for England.
Let's go. Time off. Yeah, we got to stop for you.
You happy not yellow card?
So yellow card for France. Time up on the clock in the first half. And James Rodwell is coming on for Richard De Carpentier. You can see him there just testing out his right knee, Rob. That would be bad news for England.
Yeah, it's his ankle. When he rolled, you saw it was really bad landing. I was waiting, I was expecting him to stay down, as tough as he is, and he really is. It was a horrible landing, and on this surface, sometimes it can get the better of you.
So Ollie Lindsay-Haig, 7 on 6 for England. Can they get another try just before the break? Lindsay-Haig on the run around, pops it to Dan Norton. And that's good defensive work from the French captain, Pierre-Gilles Lacafere. Tumbling Dan Norton over the sideline. And that's good stand-up defence from the French skipper.
Always great to see. Big support for him. Teammate there, Lacafere, dumps into touch and Perez pumped. Big back slap there. That means a lot to the French. Good to see him like that.
And what that means here is we're all tied up. After the previous series, hasn't he, Rob, when Tom Mitchell was being rested in an Olympic season?
He has. It's a different mentality as a captain in these environments. You've really got to step up.
Great take off the restart from Rory McConaughey, but Charlie Hayter can't quite hold on to it. Remember, they've got a player in the sin bin, France, so they're playing with 6 men here and improvising with the kick passes. Stefan Perez, but Dan Norton's latched onto it, gives it to Rodwell. Here's McConaughey in midfield. He's got a good left foot step and he uses it there. Almost through. It's Lacafere again for France, who makes the try-saving tackle. And here comes Phil Burgess. 4 metres out now, England. 7-all in this Pool B match. McConaughey! Rory McConaughey finds a way through. And England hit the lead once again.
McConaughey showing the signs of just how hard it is to play in this. No real celebration, apart from the old tap of the wrist, but I'm not quite sure what the French are trying there, to try kick pass in your own 22 with no real pace out wide. Dan Norton getting the ball back. It gave England a chance for that man to get underneath the posts, but the errors come into it once again. Hayter not quite able to hold on to the ball. A lifeline well and truly given to the English team, which they took with a plum, and McConaughey's always going to ask questions. You can see the size of the man, his frame's significantly bigger than it was a few years ago. He's got big, he's got strong, and he's a great man on the ball.
He really has shot to prominence, Rory McConaughey. Starts for England now ahead of James Rodwell, and that's no mean feat. Speaking of James Rodwell, there he is. He did win the restart, but it's fallen into the hands of Pierre Fouissac in the number 7 shirt. He's come on there for Les Bleus. Looks like Stefan Perez is running off, and he's waving his hands. That would be bad news for France.
It looks in absolute agony.
Well, without Terry Burahua here in Singapore, if they were to lose, coming on is Pierre Popelin, who made his debut in Hong Kong last week. La Rochelle is his club in French rugby. But 14-7, England leading. France in the right part of the field with possession, where they want to be, Rob.
They are already, with these injuries we're seeing, the intensity of the week previously in Hong Kong, 3 days of high-octane rugby. It can have a significant effect on this following week.
France back to 7 with Jean-Pascal Barak out of the sin bin. Lacafere brings it down. Vincent Inigo's out there playing scrum half for France. Here's Popelin. Wrapped up by McConaughey. Fouissac once more. Vincent. Jonathan Logel, in fact, is out there in the number 1 shirt. Here's another good run from Fouissac. Barak Steps off his inside, Jean-Pascal Barak is under the post, untouched. Magnifique from Barak.
Barak's looked impressive this game so far, constantly asking questions. He does that with very, very direct running. You can see here, ball being taken up, recycled well, as Phil Burgess dispatched from the breakdown. And all he's doing is looking up, scanning the field, lateral defence from Dan Bibby, Tom Bowen not able to cover. Ball in two hands is one of the most deceptive things you can do when you are attacking at pace, because you're always making doubt in the defence. And converted nicely to get them well and truly back in the game.
Well, Jean-Pascal Barak, he's been involved in everything in this game. He's set up a try, kicked the conversions, he's been sin-binned, and he's levelled it up here with another 7 points to his name. Les Bleus have come to play in Singapore, no doubt about that. 3 minutes to go. 14 apiece. We're being treated to a stellar game of sevens here. Early on day one here at the Singapore Sevens. England are going to have to run it out from their own line. Here's Lindsay Haig. And Dan Norton, world record try scorer. Offloads to McConaughey. More good stepping from Lindsay Haig. No look past to Bibby, but Norton can't hold on to it. Here come France on the counter. It's Barak. Can Jean-Pascal Barak pull off another one? Oh! Has he got it down? It'll be a magnificent moment for Barak if he scored this. Yes, he has. Well, Jean-Pascal Barak has grabbed this